What are the top paying grad jobs and are they really worth the money? Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby and I make productivity and corporate lifestyle videos. And today we are talking about the highest paying grad jobs, but we are doing this with a twist. Instead of just going through and seeing what they are and trusting Google, I've actually reached out to graduates in the highest paying roles and asked them what it's really like. We're talking about salary, we're talking about working hours, we're talking about expectations, and we're really going to dive into what it's really like to work in a top paying grad job. What are the top paying grad jobs and are they really worth the money? And then at the end, I'm going to talk about some less commonly known roles that are also well paid. So let's get straight into it. We are going to start off with a graduate role in 5th place, and that is going on a retail graduate management program. Now, I didn't even know this existed whilst I was at uni, and I actually had a friend that went on and did this, and this is how I knew of it. And it's actually said to be on the internet the 5th best paying grad job out there. So let's talk about it. So these graduate programs are actually exclusively with Abbey and Lidl. Now I'm sure similar ones exist elsewhere, but these are the two known for being really well paid. So what do you do in these graduate programs? With Lidl, you can go into sales, logistics, or the head office. And with Abbey, you can go into a graduate area management program. For simplicity, we're going to deep dive into the logistics management program and just see what you do. So this is from Lidl's website. And within this program, they claim that your first year is all about understanding how our logistics operations works. You'll see all areas of the warehouse and you'll learn the whole process from receiving, picking and distributing goods to stores. You'll also learn about the role warehouses play in our wider business as you spend time in store and other key areas. During your second year, you'll train to become an assistant team manager. On top of this, you'll complete our comprehensive training academy with full support along the way. You'll be part of a fast-paced program with tangible results and goals. So again, I had literally never heard of this, but it is well paid. So what is the grad salary variation in this role? Lidl do offer £37,000 per year with 30 days holiday, which is quite good. I think in my current job, I get 26. Don't hold me to that, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure 30 days holiday is pretty good. And Audi actually offer 50,000 for their graduate salary. And in some cases for both Lidl and Audi, this also comes with a fully expensed company car. I just find that really shocking. Like I never at uni would have thought, oh, I'll go into an Audi or Lidl graduate salary and get like a really, really good pay, an expense car. So yeah, this was such a surprise when I found this, and I had a friend that went into it and I was like, wow, this is like so unheard of. So what are the requirements to get into this role? Lidl require a 2-2 or above in any discipline, and this actually makes this role much more accessible than many other high paying grad job roles because often they want 2-1 or above and they often only hire from the top universities, whereas I think the Lidl graduate program is a lot more accessible. Aldi, however, do want a 2-1 or above, and both roles require a full UK/EU driving license, I'm assuming because you're going to have to use the company car for some reason in the job. But one super important thing when thinking about your graduate role is exit opportunities. Obviously, you're about to go into work, it's your first job. You might not know exactly what you want to do in 10 years' time. You want to know that the position you're putting yourself in is going to help you get to where you want to be in the future. And this is where exit opportunities come in. You want to be in a role with good exit opportunities, which means a role that helps you build valuable skills that are useful in many industries and in many other roles. In these graduate management programs, you are being pushed into a certain field, for example, logistics, sales, head office, area management. You are going to learn skills that are specific to that field. That doesn't mean you can't carry them elsewhere, and that doesn't mean they're not going to be useful, but it just is a little bit more narrow than some other graduate roles. This role may also not be as well recognized in other future roles, whereas some of the bigger roles that I'm going to talk about later are very well recognized across the board, across all companies, which can help you landing another job once you decide to leave your first graduate job. So now let's actually look into the juicy bit and look into what was it really like for someone that worked in one of these roles. So we are going to look at Subject X. Obviously everything's going to be completely anonymous. So Subject X was on the head office logistics graduate program for Lidl. They spent 1 year in the role and they were on a salary of 41,700, which is a little more than it says on the website, which was 37,000. They started upon this salary, so there was no salary increase within that first year. And their typical working hours, now this is where it's interesting, the typical working hours were 4 a.m. until 2 p.m. or 12 p.m. until 10 o'clock at night, or 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. So as you can see, that's shift work, which is very different to your standard corporate role. So yes, whilst you're being paid very well, the shift work does not look ideal. Obviously, for some people that might be great, but a lot of people don't like shift work, and night shifts. The best thing about the role was the hands-on experience and the company car. That makes sense. And they mentioned that the downside to the role was the night shifts. Did the job meet your expectations? The answer was yes, but they were surprised about how much warehouse work was expected before they got to move to head office. And when asked, do you think the job was really worth the money? They said yes. So it looks like quite a great role. The pay is really great, especially for straight out of uni. So let's move on to our next graduate role. In fourth place, we have a lawyer/trainee solicitor. Within this role, your typical tasks are likely to include drafting agreements, corresponding with clients and other solicitors, conducting research and attending client meetings. Within this role, your employer will have to ensure that you experience at least 3 different legal practice areas under the supervision of senior lawyers. In most firms, this will be doing seats, which are like placements in different departments across the firm. Once you graduate from uni, to go into this role, you will need to complete an LPC or an SQE, which is the vocational stage of training to become qualified. And you will then need to do 2 years as a trainee solicitor until you can become a fully qualified lawyer. So the trainee solicitor salary in London is between £40,000 to £60,000 per year. You then often get a small increase in your second year of training, usually about 5k. But then once you qualify, 2 years into your role, you get a big increase, which is usually between 90,000 and 160,000 per year, which is pretty crazy. That's 2 years out of uni and you could be on 160k. Now this is in London and the salaries are lower in other parts of the UK. So what are the progression opportunities from this role? Well, obviously one of the biggest progression opportunities is the big jump from being a trainee solicitor to being newly qualified and having such a massive salary increase. In some cases, your salary is literally doubled. You can then move to a different firm or you can go into an organization as a lawyer, but building your way up in your firm often does lead to very large money rewards because you get paid pretty well at the top. So what are the requirements to become a trainee solicitor/lawyer? Often a 2-1 is expected. Obviously, you'd think you need to study law, and in many cases this is the case, but if you did a different degree, you can leave uni and do a law conversion course, which takes a little bit longer than if you'd study law at uni, but you can then eventually go into be a trainee solicitor and lawyer. Often firms expect a 2-1 or above, and the top firms in London do often hire exclusively from the top universities. Now, this isn't always the case, and that doesn't mean if you didn't go to the top 5 universities in the country, you won't get in, but it is just a general trend. So what are the exit opportunities in this role? If you do choose to leave your firm, there are so many opportunities available because it is a very highly respected role. As I said, you could go as a lawyer into different organizations, but now we know what it's all about, let's see what it's really like. So again, let's talk about subject Y. I really should have done A, B, C, and D. Okay, we're going to transfer to A, B, C, and D. Let's talk about subject B. Subject B is a trainee solicitor. They work at Allen & Overy, which is a big firm with offices in London. They have spent just over a year in the role. Their current salary is £55,000 per year, but when they started a year ago, they were on 50,000, which matches what we just spoke about, where you join on one salary and then you go up about 5k in your second year. Their typical working hours are 9:30 to 7, which this surprised me because I hear a lot of things in the grapevine at work. It's like everybody knows quite a few people in lots of different industries, and I often hear like so-and-so who's a lawyer doesn't get in until really late in the evening, working all through the night, and it's a very demanding job. But Subject B stated that their average working hours are 9:30 to 7, which is actually quite good, I think, for that role. When asked what the best thing is about the role, Subject B said, the work is interesting and you meet a lot of great people. When asked what the downside of the role was, Subject B said that there are unsocial hours and a lot of stress, which, as I said, is expected in this role. It is a demanding role, and I think often you can be expected to work quite late. When asked, did the job meet your expectations? Subject B said the hours are longer than they expected and there are lots of responsibilities. But with this said, that is both good and bad. And when asked, do you really think the job is worth the money? Subject B said, yes, the pay is good and the progression is good. So overall, I think that's a very positive response, and it doesn't seem as daunting as I feel like the internet or maybe YouTube videos or just the word on the grapevine makes it seem. But again, this is only one person. It may differ for different companies and different people. Okay, in third place for the highest paying grad job, we have management consultant. Now, If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm a management consultant, but everything I say here is going to be completely unbiased and separate from my situation. I have not answered my survey. I have asked somebody else that I know as a consultant in a completely different company to answer it for me. So what does a management consultant do? Management consultants help organizations solve issues, create value, and maximize growth and improve business performance. As a grad, you will be expected to carry out research, conduct analysis, interview clients' employees, management team, and other stakeholders, prepare business proposals and presentations, identify issues, and form hypotheses and solutions to them. The grad salary within this role varies between $35,000 and $55,000, and it is often known that the big three and boutique firms do pay quite a bit more than the big four, who are known to pay on the lower end of this range. This does not then include end of year bonuses, which can often be 20 to 30%. So what are the progression opportunities in consulting? There is obviously the opportunity to work your way up in the firm, become senior consultant, manager, principal partner, and large salary increases do come with each promotion. And once you do reach partner, there are again big money rewards. Partners of top firms and even boutique firms are very well compensated for their work. You can also leave and become an in-house consultant in a different company. So what are the requirements to get into a management consulting role? Now, these highest paying roles are often in the city, in London, and to land a job here, often a 2-1 or above is expected. And again, they do hire mainly from the top universities. Now, this isn't exclusive. You can still get into management consulting if you didn't go to the top 5 universities in the UK, but it just does tend to be a little bit more difficult. Now, what are the exit opportunities in management consulting? And the exit opportunities in management consulting are really good. You can pick up really valuable skills. Often consulting is used as a little gateway to go into, spend some time, pick up some skills and leave and go into something else. You can pick up project management skills, skills in operations, presenting, client handling. And so it really does make you a valuable employee in the future if you wanted to go into other areas. So now let's look at a realistic review from a graduate. We're going to call this, I think we're on subject C. So subject C's job role was an associate consultant. They worked for a boutique firm in central London. The time spent in their role is 1 year, and their current salary is £55,000. Their salary upon entry was £48,000, so they did get an increase within that year. And again, this doesn't include bonus. Bonus will be on top of that. Their typical working hours, however, were the most we've seen yet so far when talking about grad roles, and that was 9 to 9. Now, with consulting, it's a bit different. So you go on and off projects, and often when you're on project, your hours could be 9 to 9. They could be very long, but when you're off of a project, your hours can be a lot shorter. When asked the best thing about the role, subject C said client exposure. And when asked about a downside to the role, subject C said boring tasks that must be done, such as entering numbers into an Excel. When asked, did the job meet your expectations? Subject C said pretty much as expected. But when asked, was the job worth the money? Subject C said no. Right, in second place for the highest paying grad job, we have an investment banker, which is no surprise. Everybody knows that investment bankers are compensated very well for their work. So let's have a look at what they do. As a corporate investment banker, you'll provide a range of financial services to companies, institutions, and governments with the aim of helping them to achieve their financial goals and implement long and short-term financial plans. Within your role, you will assess the desirability of deals using financial models, structure and negotiate the terms of deals, liaise with project teams within a deal to obtain relevant specialist information and market intelligence, carry out financial modeling to then develop and present financial solutions to clients, analyze detailed numerical information and interpret findings for clients, and much more. The grad salary for this role actually across the board was a lot less varied than others, and it sat around about 60k as your entry salary. The progression opportunities in terms of salary are great. As a third-year investment banker, you can expect to be on about £90,000 per year. Obviously, these are in the top London firms. So what are the requirements to get into this role? Now, in terms of degree, they do prefer if you do a more mathematical based degree or degree in finance, business, something like that. However, it is not exclusive to those degrees. They do, however, like a strong academic performance throughout the years and for you to graduate with a 2-1 or above. Again, the top firms in London do often hire from the top universities, and it is very, very competitive to get into investment banking. And what are the exit opportunities? Again, investment banking has great exit opportunities. By being an investment banker, you basically wear a badge that says, I can deal really well with highly stressful situations, I can work really long hours and perform well. And it's a badge that helps you get employment later in life if you choose to change fields. But what is it really like? Now, subject D, who filled out this survey, wasn't actually an investment banker, but they worked at a bank as an operations manager, which is similar. So let's see what they said. Okay, subject, are we on D? Did I just say C? A, B, we did X, B. I have no idea what we did. I think we're on C, yeah. I think we're on C. Subject C was an operations manager at Challenger Bank. They've been in this role for 1 to 2 years, and their current salary is £55,000 per year with a £20,000 equity bonus on top of that. When they entered the company, they were also on £55,000 per year, but they only had a £2,500 equity bonus. So their compensation for being there for a year must have been an increase in their bonus. Their typical working hours are 9 to 8, which is a 55-hour week, which is actually good for banking. Investment bankers can be known to work 80 to 100-hour weeks. I don't know how common that is, but it is a thing. It does happen. And there is a typical saying that investment banker only earns so much money because they work double the hours of any other person. But that's not always the case. Subject C said the best things to come out of the role was the salary, high-paced environment, and responsibilities. And the downside to the role was the hours, the pressure to deliver, and the job culture, which has a very high attrition rate. These are all things that I would expect from investment banking. It is a very fast-paced culture. It is a very stressful job, but you do get well compensated for your work. When asked, did the job meet your expectations? Subject C said the pressure to deliver end-to-end projects despite little to no experience or seniority was a bad surprise. And when asked, do you think the job is really worth the money? Subject C said yes. So despite the difficulties and the stress, Subject C does think it is worth the money. Now, we are on to our top paying grad role in the UK. Now, again, I did not even know this existed. So the highest paying grad job in the UK that I could find was a quantitative trader, often known as a quant trader. Now, a quant trader is a specialized trader who applies mathematical and quantitative methods to evaluate financial products or markets. This job can be quite confusing to describe, so I'm going to put up on a screen a description and just go through this because it would make a lot more sense doing it that way. So your core objective is to deliver high quality, systematic strategies in production, monitor continuous trading, strategy performance and all relevant risks, implement signals and relevant data sets within the global execution platform, leverage your trading and market expertise by sharing production results, methodology, data sets and processes with other traders and researchers, monitor signal behavior and performance of execution platform over time. It does sound very confusing, and you'll understand why this is a very difficult role to enter when I tell you the entry requirements. Now, the grad salary for this role is £100,000 to £200,000 upon entry, which I think is pretty wild. And again, if I knew about this, guys, I would have been teaching myself to code from a young age, but I didn't know about this. The requirements to get into this role are quite high. You need an advanced degree in a quantitative field such as data science, statistics, mathematics, physics, or engineering. Now that I do have, but then let's look at the rest. High level of technical knowledge in statistics, machine learning, NLP, or AI techniques is a plus. Capacity to multitask in a fast-paced environment while keeping strong attention to detail. Coding skills are required in at least one leading programming language, Python, R, MATLAB, and or C++ or C#. Is that how you say that? I would assume it's how you say that. Experience in exploring large data sets across multiple timeframes is a plus. Intellectual curiosity to explore new data sets, solve complex problems, drive innovative processes, and connect the dots between multiple fields. And capacity to work with autonomy within a collegial and collaborative environment. Now, the difficulty to getting into this role is the high level of skill needed in coding. I'm pretty sure in the interview stage, you actually have to compete with someone in a coding competition. You can't be mediocre at coding. You can't just code with a bit of help from Google. You need to be really good at this stuff, which is why the role is very difficult to get into, and I'm assuming why it's so well paid. So the progression opportunities in this role, you are often compensated really well, as you can tell with the really high salary. And so working your way throughout the company, I think you continue to be compensated very, very well for your work. The exit opportunities, again, are fantastic. The data and software skills that you pick up are invaluable and could be useful in many, many other fields. And so I don't think you'd struggle getting a job if you were to go into quant trading and leave and go into something else. And I don't actually have a realistic review from a graduate for this one, sorry guys. I did speak to someone in quant trading, but they weren't happy to disclose their salary, and that is completely fine. I would never expect someone to have to do that. But from what I can see on the internet, I think the hours are pretty standard for any corporate role in London, 9 to 6, 9 to 7. However, the work is very difficult and I think can be highly stressful at times because trading in general can be quite a stressful field. So they are the top 5 paying grad jobs in the UK. Now, some other well-paid grad jobs that are much lesser known and much less talked about when people discuss, oh, I want to be X, Y, and Z because it's super highly paid. But many other well-paid fields in London are software developers, roles in private equity, roles in wealth management, roles in hedge funds, and roles in venture capital. These do pay very well and are based in the city. So that is all the high-paying grad roles that we are going to talk about today. Obviously, money isn't everything when choosing a grad job. So if you are looking into what grad jobs you want to do, yes, the money is great, and being able to go into a really well-paid graduate role is fantastic. But again, look at the exit opportunities, look at the progression opportunities, look at what you enjoy, how do you value your time? Because very often, the more highly paid the role, the more hours you may be expected to work, the more stressful the job will be. So it really is all about what you value and where you want to be in the future. It is not just about the money on your first year as a graduate. But this video was just a realistic lowdown. I hope it's given you some insight into what, first of all, what roles are out there, and second of all, what they're actually like, some opinions from real people working them right now. So yes, if you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.